my God.
I've got all the singers in the house today.
Get me. Dreams. Come true.
We got Travesty back. Welcome back, Travesty.
Thank you, everybody. Apologies for my absence last week.
Yeah, we got special guest, Mrs. taking out the Trashley. The legend. The legend. The legend.
The family unite.
The troublemaker. The myth. The legend. We got Pudding. Pudding.
Hey, no, I'm here to stay. Hear that? Now I'm here to stay, guys.
And we got the self-acclaimed. What does it say? Critically acclaimed writer, Medea. Critically acclaimed. Welcome to Blackopolypse, our family affair podcast with the Crazy Gang.
Complete.
Certainly is.
Are we going just straight into the topics? I ain't even going to ask anyone how they are because it's
no. First of all, we can talk about a little bit about COVID. We have missed COVID.
Is that still going on?
That's also
Everyone's doing their own thing.
I went get a cold the other day. What? Like everything's back to normal if you can socialise, isn't it?
While you are busy mixing and blending, on the 24th of July, it will be law to be required, obviously, to wear a mask in any shops, including
so late.
supermarkets.
Isn't it already required?
I know.
COVID in everyone's skin by now.
It's for the second wave. That's coming in October, they reckon.
But that sounds planned to me, because how do you know there's a second wave? And truly, if there's going to be a second wave, why have you opened up all the places that youngsters and people who are very sociable want to go to, like the pubs and planning the gym and all that as well? It doesn't make sense, but there's someone like me that wants to go to an appointment you can have more control over. Why not open them things first?
Hold on, that's true. Because why are you doing a second wave but you're sending kids back to school in September?
Exactly. Because we want to kill a few more people.
It's called herd immunity.
It's called
That's what the government wants to do. Herd immunity, so everybody gets immune. But I've heard on the grapevine that even people who've had it are still not immune.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't know where they're going
with having a cold. You never become immune to a cold, do you?
Yeah, you always get a cold and flu. That's regular.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And don't you think they should know how to handle it a bit better?
It's just a joke. But like I said, the sheep are leading people right now and just running to it. So I couldn't care less anymore, because at the end of the day, we're not showing that we've got control. We're just doing what we're doing. But when lockdown happens, you ain't got no control because shops are shut.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on swiftly.
Let's go into the topics. I can't remember. I pick one out from the bunch that we have today.
No, I think since we missed Travesty, she should read out the first topic. Come on, Travesty, get in there.
Okay, Travis.
The first topic is...
Oh, she has it up. I can't believe it. It's a miracle.
Is it... I'm learning. Unless you told me once. Is it right to class paedophiles with the LGBT community, and will the LGBT take offence to it? Well, obviously.
Well, they're classing them all the same, so I don't know.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference, because when it comes to paedophiles, you're choosing to go with someone of an underage who has no sense about love or anything else. There's a difference. Gay people are going through something different. We just love the same sex. We're not going to touch a child and all that stuff. You're choosing to go for a child.
No, I don't know. I think
Gay people are not choosing to go with a baby or anything.
I think the comparisons are wrong. I think what it is basically saying is, because LGBT can do what they want, shouldn't it be fair that people who are labelled as paedophile afforded the same freedom?
Because gay people are not hurting nobody who hasn't got any... the age of consent. They're just saying that I love the same sex, not someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, they're saying, can we class pedophilia as a sort of a same thing as LGBT?
No. Let's be real. Gay people are not harming nobody. Just like the same sex.
Pedophiles will say the same thing. No, they don't harm anybody.
Yes, they are. They are. When you want to, I'm sorry, let me just say that. So when you want to rape a 6-month-old who has no clue,
okay, that's extreme. That's extreme.
But it's real. Because that's what a pedophile does. You have to
let me give you an example. Let's give you a proper example. We're not talking about this is crazy, 6 months old. That's crazy. But let's say someone who's someone who's 14 and they want to date someone who's 20.
No. That's not
the same.
It's got no sense now, man. Come on, man. Let's be real. We're getting to the. When you talk about podcasts, it's about being real.
Yeah, but you're a paedophile no matter what.
Paedophiles go for 6 months old.
No.
A 20-year-old cannot go with a 6-month-old. A 14-year-old cannot go with a 6-month-old.
If you're 21,
oh my God.
So we're not going to use 5. We're not going to use 5 and 4 because this is just morally wrong anyway. This is wrong.
That's right.
Yeah, but paedophiles. Wait.
Oh my
but
God,
paedophiles are paedophiles from when you date someone under 16, you can be classed as a minor paedophilia.
Let's look at it like this. You've got 16-year-olds, You got 16-year-olds that go around acting like they're 20-odd-year-olds who look older than their age, and you got the typical 16-year-old that's like skinny and has no sense and all that stuff. And then I'm bringing it back. Then you got the 6-month-old. Why would you, as a big man or someone old, look at someone who's crawling on their knees saying "goo goo gaga"? Oh, I love you. I want to go there with you.
I think that's extreme.
You are a paedophile.
I think these people are sick. I think this is sick.
Gay people are not sick. Exactly. Gay people ain't sick. Transgenders ain't sick. We just think, you know what? I don't feel like I'm a man. I don't feel like I'm a woman. I love this person who's the same age as me. We have the same sense, the same things going on in our
consenting adults,
There you go. Thank you.
Consenting, it's all about consensual.
Exactly.
Alstalio, whether you want to accept it or not, Alstalio, whether you want to accept it or not, it is a reality. There is facts out there that the demon paedophiles do go with children that young.
But
I'm trying to let's not class.
Never be made legal.
The thing is, I'm trying to figure out. We got to not class because anyone under, let's say under 10, is that's off limits. That's totally off limits. Yeah. But say a girl is 12 or 13 and she wants to date someone who's 18.
That's a grey area. It's wrong, but it's a grey area. The way I could look at that, I'll tell you. I mean,
that's grooming.
Trashley.
That's called grooming.
At the same time, that is a grey area, and I'll give you an example of why I say it's a grey area. Because an 18-year-old guy could be immature, and he has fallen in love with a 12-year-old. Now, let me give you an example of why I say it's a grey area. Now, imagine that does happen. The parents know these two love each other, but they will allow it under one condition: no sex before the child is 16. So if it's monitored, that's a different thing. It's a grey area. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'll say it.
Grey area.
What's the name? Trashley. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's a grey area. Because they could be in love for the next 6 years, or say 4 years, before they actually have
consent. He's immature for his age. He's got something wrong with him.
Listen. He could be dating her for 4 years before he actually sleeps with her. So he's not a paedophile.
No.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Mentally wrong with him, because why would you look at someone so young who has that young mentality?
There are some 12-year-olds who look 30.
Yeah, there is.
They've
had hard paper rounds.
Let me just exit this podcast. Let me just exit this. Shade was so hard. Right down the shade. I can't come back from the shade. I know what is wrong.
Very hard paper rounds.
So it is a grey area. However, a 30-year-old man trying to date a 10 and an 8-year-old, no, that's sick. This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about. If they legalise it, imagine, Alstalio, a man 30 comes and asks if he can go out with your daughter, and he can do it because it's legal.
That shouldn't be legal.
You'd kick off.
You'd kick off.
Me and him are fighting. It's on site.
The only way it's going to stay legal is if it's done in the countries where they accept it.
In Africa and Asia?
Correction, it's not, 9 times out of 10 it's not accepted. They just haven't got the facilities to accept it, if that makes sense. I've been doing a bit of research on it. Like, I know Kenya is one of the countries where they're coming in, befriending people, say, we'll give you money, and touching the children or whatever under the quiet, and then I find out after the fact, and then they have to go to they have to go to like a centre or something. So they're onto it.
I think there's 2 of them. Because there's one where I've seen where man loves boy.
Thailand.
There's 2 of them. There's 2 types. Now, this is what they're putting out there now as the new one where they want Igla.
Don't care about the sex.
They call man love boy, and it was like, what do you mean? Because they tried to style it out like man, a lover of boy or something like that. I was thinking, no. There ain't no one coming to touch out no boy's backside and think you're gonna leave. Legal or not, you're gonna dead.
Exactly. You're taking the piss.
But it happens though.
It does.
You can't just sit there thinking it just happens to little girls.
It happens to both.
So,
it does. It really
and
does.
It shouldn't be made legally.
That's the only one I seen. That's the only one I seen. But I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, because I thought, no, it's not. No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Because obviously, you already know in different countries they're marrying young girls already. You got what I'm saying here? But you don't hear of a man marrying a young boy. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
That's why I was like, lover of a young boy. I was thinking, man, love boy. I was thinking, what the hell's this?
Because that's not legal.
Man. You get what I'm saying here? Because obviously people want to challenge the older people marrying young people, but the boy thing is a different step. Like, yo, you can't. That'll be some real twist.
Yeah.
Real talk.
No, sorry.
No, definitely.
Beer fight's gonna go on. Beer fighting, and the reason, one thing I noticed that. I'm not causing a stir or anything. I'm just saying, how come no one's rioting? So I rather put it out there that it looks like enough people want to fuck.
Someone else said that. Yeah, someone else said that on my page.
No one wants to fuck. No one wants to fight that. But don't get me wrong. I'm not pushing aside that. But when you think about it, there's a lot of people that want to fuck kids, and I'm being real. Because no one's rotating.
That's a language, dude, man. This is a podcast for families.
Family, yeah.
I took it personal then. You get what I'm saying?
I'm going to have to kick you out, man. Put you back on the taking out the Trashley podcast. That's for the dirtiness and the trash. Not here. Yeah. This is the pleasant, respectable. This is the pleasant, respectable. No more swearing. Cut the swearing out. Okay.
Put a big beef.
Let's move. Look, man. Let's move on, man. Anyway, the LGBTs and the pedophiles not going to be classed as the same thing. I can't see that happening because the LGBT have too much power and completely bring down the world if they were.
Definitely.
Then again, there's elites who don't mind messing that kind of stuff, so you never know.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the end of the day, don't push that onto people. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want to be labelled as a paedophile because I've never tried in my life.
Horrible.
So,
horrible.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. Real talk.
Okay. Next topic.
Do you believe there is someone out there for everyone, or is it just a saying that was made up to give people false hope?
I think relationships are false hope anyway.
Yeah.
I think relationships are false. Yeah, because look. How many people? Let's be honest. And look at the current day. How many people are you going to date and it's not going to work out?
Yeah.
At least 10 to 15 people. It's not going to work out. You know, so you may go on for another 10, 15 after that, so 30 people, and you won't meet somebody you know. So I think it's all just rubbish.
I think it's like the lottery. If you're lucky, if you do. Because there is a lot of people on this planet.
Nah, the lottery, you know, the thing is, sorry, do you want to carry on?
Yeah, thank you, Estalio. Thank you for that. Yeah, everybody's too passionate in this podcast.
We are
very passionate.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this world, and obviously, we all are growing up in the ideal, thinking about this idealistic future we're all going to encounter when we get of age. We're going to meet that one man at school, grow up together, childhood sweethearts, get married, have the kids, and we all watch Disney films, and it's brainwashed into us to think we're all entitled to a partner when you're not. You could be the nastiest person on earth. It doesn't mean you deserve to have a partner.
No,
it's true.
You know what I mean? Not you don't come into this earth deserving to be loved. You're lucky if you are.
Yeah.
So I do believe that there isn't somebody out there for everybody, because there's a lot of people sitting on their own right about now.
True.
And it doesn't matter how hard you strive not to be alone in life, you're always going to end up alone because your partner will probably die.
Or it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that
No. Can I quickly jump in? I'm not going to say someone doesn't exist for somebody. I think the problem is, if you look at yourself, I think you need to be two things. You really need to be in a relationship to start. You have to have this as basic before you can even think about having a successful
Oh,
relationship.
man, I'm biting my tongue here.
You have to be
I want to get in.
inconsiderate. You have to be inconsiderate and selfless. If you don't have these two skills, you're not going to make it in a successful relationship unless you find someone who doesn't mind being walked over, and that's it. You're going to be selfless and inconsiderate. So not be selfish. You're going to be like, you know what, I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice this for you. You got to be that kind of person. If you're not that kind of person, that's why a lot of people are sitting alone, because they're too selfish, they're too entitled, they just can't be bothered, and they want to scream or dominate the other partner. No, it doesn't work, man. Anyway,
doesn't work.
I just want to jump in real quick. I just want to jump in real quick so my dad can get the whole run of the thing. Remember, there's a lot of people. No, I think a lot. It's a lot of people that are just holding on because of what they can benefit from. Like, oh, I'm going to hold on even though it's a piece of trash. Oh, he drives a car. Oh, he's got money. Oh, but this. Oh, but she looks like this. I'm thinking, let go. Like I explained in my last podcast, just let go and find your own one if there is one. Stop holding on to somebody else's.
That's young girls. That's young girls' moves, though.
This is why.
Oh no, that's everybody's moves, mate.
That's everyone's move. They're also, like you said, selfishness. Yeah. Like you'll have baby mums like, I'm not letting him go because I don't want to go to someone else. I'm going to deal with him, treat him like crap, even though I don't want him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is why people are probably not finding the one, because someone's not letting go and they aren't confident enough. But yeah, my dad, carry on. You can finish.
The only thing I wanted to add to that really is there's another angle that people actually don't notice or are not aware of. Sometimes in life, you are going to have someone, but only for the here and now.
Yeah.
You're not always going to have someone for the rest of your life, because not everybody's meant to have someone for the rest of their life. So you will have a Mr. or Mrs. right now. So if you look at it from that point of view, then maybe we all have someone out there for us.
Yeah.
Not forever.
That's
the way I put it.
Another thing is people are always ever evolving and changing, and even when you're with somebody, you're still changing, to your own characters, and your characters don't always match. I think I've explained this before on a previous podcast, but they don't always match your partners. And if you get two characters, if you both turn into characters that don't match anymore, the relationship's going to collapse unless you can sustain a relationship until it gets to the next point where you change again, and hopefully this time it matches. But believe me, man, this always happens. That's why relationships break up, and it's every 7 years you're a new person. So every 7 years,
I agree with that.
Does that mean every 7 years change your partner?
Well, it might be forced on you. It might be forced on you. It might be forced on you because you might not pair up with your partner you're with. That's why people break up all the time, because you're going through changes slightly, and by the seventh year, you're a completely new person. Then you do another 7 years, and then so that means after puberty, that's when it starts. After puberty, you got 21, 28, 35, 42, and that's when you're going to keep changing. Trust me. If you look at yourself, look at any of yourself now, look at yourself 7 years ago, and then try and think of yourself 7 years before that, you would say I was completely different. A different mindset.
In my day, we used to say every 10 years, to be honest.
Yeah.
In my day, you changed every 10 years. So the fact that you changed every 7 years means people want to move on quicker.
I thought it was always every 7 years. I thought it was always 7 years because of the 7 years.
I never knew none of this. I never knew this.
You do. You change your outlooks every so often. You do. You change how you think.
Them couples that are staying together from school until they're crusty and old, they should have just got rid many a times then.
Yeah, it's what it is
they've got to hold on for the sake of the kids.
No, what they've got is that old saying, which is a very cruel saying, I would say, is that's the devil you know. Yeah. And that is not a good saying, because a lot of people live in misery because of that saying. It's a miserable saying. Think about it. Why would you stay with the devil rather than be on your own and find the good you've not yet met?
Exactly, real talk.
I wouldn't stay with the devil and live in misery. You must be joking.
I think it depends on your background, to be fair.
Yeah, true.
If you come from that kind of household where you've had both parents within it, through growing up, you probably more are directed to have that kind of lifestyle because you're used to it. But if you're not, if you're not, you're a bit more versatile. You can take it or leave it. That's the only benefit you have sometimes, I think, from being from a single parent family. But once if you've been in a strong, solid relationship and you feel that you and your partner do get on past the 7-year mark, then you're onto a good one, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because that's why I think they always say, I think Medea would know this, the 7-year itch, is it?
Yes, it's called the 7-year itch.
That's why you have the 7-year itch when you think, I don't know about this. I probably need to get off. You know what I mean? If you make it through that, then you've got at least another 7 years, so you will hit the 12-year, 14-year mark.
I think it's a little less than that. Because remember, what I was saying was you're changing a little bit every time. Like I remember with my wife a couple of years ago, I just didn't like her anymore. I was like, man, I don't like this person. And I knew she'd got to that, because I was already informed, I knew she got to that point where now our character's not fitting anymore. So it was just annoying. It was not really good to be with her and to be around her. And I was thinking a lot of, like, should I leave her? But because I know this, because I was armed with this knowledge, I was thought to myself, if I just stick it out, the next character might be someone I like. But you could get two characters that you don't like, and that's when your relationship will break down completely, because you'll be like, okay, now I can't deal with this person anymore, I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I hope your wife knows this already.
Of course, man. I speak to my wife about everything. There's nothing off the table, my wife. I speak to her about, and that's another thing that you want in a relationship. If you want a serious relationship, you need to have that skill
honesty.
To thing. Yeah, I mean honestly, but you need to talk to your wife about everything. Don't leave nothing off the table. And you got to be able to talk to your wife about everything too. You know, if you can't say to your wife, look at that attractive person, goodbye. You need to be able to say that, and then you know you got a good one, you're a winner. If your wife's jealous, you'll be like, don't look at that person, I'll kill you. And then you know it's time to leave. It's only a matter of time. Because humans are free, and humans are free. They want to be free and expressive.
Yeah.
And
Australia wants to be free and expressive. Let's be real.
I am expressive and free.
Is that why you asked the question, Alstalio, is that why you asked the question, do women end up being the dominant partner in a relationship because they feel they need to be? Do you think that's why?
This can be our last question for today, I guess.
Yeah.
The reason why I was having the discussion with my wife yesterday, and see, I kind of forgot about it, but do we want to be in a relationship? Yeah, because I know I'm reading the question because I'm actually trying to think why we was with discussion. I should actually call her in, but she's busy at the moment. Women tend to take control of everything in a relationship. So, like, I think I explained to you last time that, you know, they'll always be like, look, I got to take care of the kids, and I know everything about the kids, but the man does nothing. He just goes to work, and then he comes home and doesn't do nothing. And the woman's then, even if she's got a job, she's expected to look after the kids, take the kids to the doctors, you know, drive the kids to school, take them to the play dates, do all this stuff. And the man just sits there and has an easy life, you know? So what I was saying is that why women automatically end up as the dominant partner, because they become this like mother figure.
The leader,
the leaders, yeah.
But doesn't that always work when the man loves the woman, not the other way around? Because you can't do that to a man who doesn't love a woman fully. So the woman
That's true. That is true. Dominant. What Trashley said is very true. If a man is not committed emotionally to that woman, she would never be able to be the dominant one.
Yeah, the problem is, though, the women will take on this role because they need to, but at the same time complain about being in this role. So obviously my wife does this partner consulting, and she gets loads of people saying to her, yeah, you know, my husband, he doesn't do nothing, he leaves me to do all the work, and I feel expanded. What's the word, man? You know, when you're
exploited.
Not exploited. You know, when you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
I've forgotten the word. It's on my head as well.
It's on the tip of my tongue too. It's on the tip of my tongue when they're like, you know, spent. She can't do any more.
Yeah.
And the husband's just sitting there doing nothing, and he's always complaining. But the husband gets to take. Who?
It sounds like
it may be exhausted. Yeah, it could be
exhausted is the word.
And the man can go, but the man's all right to go to the fitness studio or the you know, to go play with his friends. But when the wife asks, the guy's like, no, you know, I need to do this. So, you know, which I can understand is really true, you know. But I don't know why women don't take their time to you know, do that stuff instead of being.
Depends on the relationship you're in, Stalio. Because if you walk into a relationship with your husband and you expect 50-50, I think many women today have got as much social life as their their partners. To be fair,
Mm.
I think it depends on where you're coming from as well, because many women I know seem to, well, the men seem to do more for some reason.
Mm.
That's what I found, and the women dictate what they do.
Do you think that it's because of the dominance? It's like, okay, I'm
It's
delegating the work. Yeah, I'm delegating the work to you. So now you've got to do all that stuff as well.
It's just being smart, innit? Don't work hard, work smart. You know what I mean? So you make the man feel like he's in control and he's the leader, but then really you're dictating from behind. You know what I mean? You need to do this, so do this, so let's do this, let's do that. Let's do this.
The thing is, I don't know, is it like that really, or is the man like, I'm doing the hard work because like, for example, he always seems to think that because they're making the money, this is the hard work thing, which it isn't really in some cases. In some cases it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if a guy's working out in a construction site and he's picking up tons of bricks and
that means nothing.
That's hard work, man.
Play with your kids.
That's hard work, man.
At the end of the day,
that's back-breaking work. I don't know, man. I have to give some props and say, you know what? Look, he's been picking up cement for like me. Sometimes on a day, on a bad day, I lift up more of a kilo worth of not a kilo, a ton of coins, a ton of metal coins a day. That's heavy, man. It might not all be at once, but it's like
one by one.
25. Like today, what was today? Today was about 28 bags of 15 kilos of coins. 28
it is a lot. That's
a lot. Believe me, it's a lot. You think it's light, man, but I'll tell you, man. The average...
No, I know what that is. I can feel your pain because when I used to, obviously in my employment, you're supposed to weigh the bags before you leave, and the maximum is 16 kilograms. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And obviously, I'm meant to come home and then like play with a hyper 3-year-old, and and I'm tired, and I've like me, the way I have it normally, I'm like, look, when I come in the house, I need an hour to like lie down, meditate, close my eyes or whatever. After that, I'm ready. But in most cases, most of the time, I don't even get that thought. It's like I think men, they come in and they'll quickly, because the wife's obviously been all day stressed with the kids and whatever. And I know she's had a bad day too, and she can't wait to get the guy to come home to take the kids. But then the kids just pass straight off to the guy. The guy is probably broken mentally, and physically. And I think this is what leads to a lot of breakups too, and a lot of what's the word when you resent? Is it resent?
Resentment.
Yeah.
Resentment. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel resentful because you're like, man, would it be easier being single? Look, I could go home to a house where I'm single, nobody's there, and I can relax and do what I want, and then I could decide to go and see the kids or the wife or whatever, or my girlfriend or not. And that's the choice you have. Yeah, and I think that a lot of people decide that that's the better option.
Yeah.
No
obligations, any no obligations to anybody. To what you're doing.
Which I don't promote that though, because obviously you should try and stick around with your kids and stuff and your wife and try and make it work to the last day. But I think that's where things break down a little bit. But
are you really ready for a relationship, or is that how hard a relationship is?
I think at some point everybody's ready for a relationship. I'm talking about people who are actually in relationships or ready for relationships. No one's like 20 or something. This is too young. Because at 20, you probably got, to be honest, up until about 28, you got no business being in a relationship with anybody, to be fair. Too young, you haven't experienced anything. You haven't done what you're supposed to do on the earth. To be cooped up with one partner.
Yeah.
And the partner's just oppressing you and enslaving you and not telling you can't do this unless I'm there. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I've never heard something so ridiculous in my life. But that's what a lot of people do. Look at Look, for example, people who would have been in a young relationship. Look how they would have been. No, he's not allowed to go out. Or she's not allowed to go out. No, I'm going. It's true. It's like, oh my God, yeah, all right. But I think after 28, 30, you start understanding life a little bit more and like, you know what, actually, set him free. Go on and experiment a little bit. Actually, do you think we have time for one more? Or do you want to?
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, wait there. Pudding hasn't said much, man. Pudding, you got any?
One about those. I feel like though, it's just a benchmark for men to just step up a little bit. I do agree with what Madea was saying about the whole thing of like, if you're the working partner, having an hour and then coming around to do something, and find that middle ground.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we need to break that chain of, the men just go to work and then come back and they're just the provider. We definitely need to break that chain, because if that's the case, you should be taking this contraceptive pill that India are making and going to dish out worldwide and not have any kids. That's the way I see it, quite frankly. I really and truly, you can't leave just the woman doing all the work or just the man doing all the work. You got to find the middle ground.
Saying that they might have to take that pill off the shelves, because I just read something the other day that this
population's decreasing.
The population's decreasing. And
where in India or China?
How can it
not in the world?
They
said by 64 it'll peak at 8.9, I think,
yeah,
or 9.
Did you not see the,
but
did
from
you not see it?
2100 it'll go down again back to something lower. So
so
and they said and the next thing is the average age. That's what they're worried about the most, the average age. Because remember, when everyone's in retirement and you don't have enough people to pay for these retirement, you have no retirement. Remember, that's how it works. And young people pay for, like, when we get old, or say, for example, people who are retired now, I'm paying for someone who's retired now, and in turn, someone will pay for me. But if you don't got no youth, but everyone's old, so you got like 6 billion old people and 2 billion people working who are young. Wow.
I think that's I think that's to do with state pension, not your private pension. That should already be retained in a pot somewhere. The
question is there going to be a pension full stop? Yeah, that's the thing.
Can I just add something to this, though? You saying that, Australia, about population decreasing. For those my generation that don't have kids, 9 times out of 10, we're stuck in a position where we can't have kids. You can't afford it. You're struggling yourself, and then you're going to put yourself in a predicament to have children. How are you going to pay for them? And they're doing this rule as well in the government where you can't have so many amount of kids, otherwise you're just not going to get paid at all. So what do you do? And then there's 0-hour contract jobs, and then there's temporary jobs, and I'm thinking, how are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to bring up the children?
This is what I don't understand, how they're upset about the depopulating.
Exactly, you should be glad it's depopulating.
That's what they want, isn't it?
That's what they wanted.
Horrible anyway.
Yeah, because it's what they wanted. They wanted to be depopulated. Now they're screwing that there's less people.
Yeah, why did you bring people into a world to be oppressed?
Exactly.
Leave it for the rich to keep having the kids. And then they can tell
can't afford it.
Slaves.
Exactly. No more complaints then.
They don't want the rich just to have the kids, because the rich kids don't work.
And then, exactly.
More people.
So the minions at the end of what I've just said. If the rich people are the only ones having kids, think about it. The poor will all have gone. So what is
the poor would all have gone.
Yeah.
But you know what? But check the dot though, because there's always someone who's richer than the other person. The poor or rich person will have to do it, and then they'll be complaining.
Exactly, let them do it.
Let them do it. They don't be classed as working class because I'm rich. No, you're not, because I'm a billionaire.
With the poor,
you're under than me because I'm a trillionaire.
Yeah.
You get me? Everyone's gonna go boasting and that. Because I did watch something about that where they all over boast and get bigger yachts, and yachts bigger than a bigger yacht, and then the yacht's bigger than the next yacht.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that's disgusting. It's boasting, and it's pointless. I don't get it. But let it depopulate, because no one's no good anymore.
Exactly. The world's horrible. You know,
jobs, no more jobs going on. Yeah, there's no more jobs going on. You get what I mean? Saying to everyone in their working class state is getting a risk of being on benefits, and these are the same benefits you're costing you're going to end up on, and your kids.
You know how many businesses have gone
let's be real now. Yeah, let's be real. Let's let it out.
What's that, Medea?
You know how many businesses have gone down? I mean, do any of you remember Harvey's Furniture Store? That's gone into bankruptcy.
Has it?
Screwing about that. I know Medea's screwing about that.
I couldn't believe they've gone into the receivers. They've gone into receiverships.
Oh my God,
that's
awful place.
Yes.
Yeah, gone.
Go on Google it and you'll see.
I think it's a lot of companies are going to suffer from this.
Exactly. So what's going to happen to these poor people who've lost their jobs?
Well, the survey was done saying that it's 25% more companies said that they're making 750 companies says that they took a survey and they said that they were going to have to reduce their workforce by at least 25%.
Exactly.
Due to COVID. And everybody's sitting there being furloughed, thinking that this ain't going to happen to all of them. And I keep saying, you know what I mean? You're sitting here, yes, the company's paying you, but they're taking it back from the government. As soon as they've got to take the responsibility on to pay you directly, that's when your job's gone, honey.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, also would have bought you back already.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you see what happens to the tourism industry. Wait for that.
Yeah.
Airlines and everything, they employ a lot of people, and watch how many people are going to get let go there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
That's another thing that I'm confused about. This whole quarantine. I've heard that you've got to quarantine. Say if it was to go away right now, because there is a lot of deals on, you get a bit tempted. And I'm thinking to myself, if I go away, will I come back and have to quarantine? I'm hearing no, and then I'm hearing yes. Where can you find this information?
You don't have to quarantine in Europe.
Spain and Italy, them type of places.
No, you don't have to quarantine in Europe at the moment.
You don't?
I thought.
No, because my family's, my wife's brother's over here, and he lives in London, obviously, now. And they're over here, and they don't have to quarantine. So there's no quarantine from England into Europe only. I don't know if you go to, like, some parts of
Spain,
South America.
I think Spain and those places, you do.
Is it some parts of Spain, though?
No. Because the tourist industry has been suffering so much, they've opened up the gates and says there's 50 countries where you can go to that you don't have to quarantine in when you come back from or when you go to. But you've got to check on the list to see if that country is obviously where you're going. But I think Spain is one of the ones that were first opening up their gates to say, come back. Portugal was on the fence. Italy, I think they were also sort of, because they were the ones who broke up first, to be fair. And I think everybody's a bit, I don't know if I want to go there. And then, I think everywhere else, But nobody's mentioned, I don't think you can go to America.
No, America, I think you'd have to quarantine if you went to America.
Yeah, anywhere that further afield. But yeah, most of the places, because they're so hungry for our money, they're saying, come, you won't have to quarantine. But me personally, I don't think I'll be going anywhere this year. I'll probably have a staycation, just out of safety for my own well-being.
To be unsafe,
You know what I mean? Because I didn't, all right then. I was thinking to myself, if I go further afield like Europe to see a stallion, at least I can drive and be in my own bubble.
Yeah, that's the good thing,
You know what I mean? I don't really want to, I don't think it's safe at the time being to be going up in the air in the plane where the oxygen is recycled throughout the cabin. That's not something I don't really want to deal with. You've got more and higher chances of contracting COVID. So no, that's not for me. I'd rather do driving holidays at the moment.
Yeah. So make sure, Australia, when you come over, you drive.
Yeah. I'm probably going to, we'll see. I'm probably going to drive anyway, Although I've got an outstanding flight ticket from Ryanair. They hold me still, so.
Just drive for now.
Yeah.
To be on the safe side.
I'm not scared of Corona.
Yeah, but we are.
Corona.
No, it confuses me. It really does confuse me.
That's true.
I'm thinking they expect you to be scared, but then they'll open the cinema. All these places, like when we got TV at home, like
when did they open that? I thought it was
this has been open. No, it's been open for a while. Probably the beginning of the month. No, I don't think every man is, but they're just the basic cinema.
Not everyone people to listen. How can you expect people to listen? And all this is opening up, but the wave is coming.
Life centres open.
Fast and close people off then, if that's real.
Safari Park's open. Yeah. Safari Park's not so bad because you can just be in a car with your household, can't you, and see the animals? But, you know, all them other places, it doesn't make sense.
Them alone. Don't give them COVID, them and them sitting in a cage. Left them alone. I just don't get this. This is an absolute
Who
joke.
got Trashley back on the podcast, man? Who's this?
Yeah. Why have you let this demon back on?
Who was the...
I snuck back in.
Hello, yeah. I didn't even get a heads up, to be honest. That was sneaky, man. That was sneaky. Hashtag making a living.
Yeah,
on people like COVID stuff. Doing a COVID on people. COVID.
Okay. I'm going to block. Trust me, next time I see Trash's name, I'm going to block it, man. I'm blocking it.
Yeah.
I'm going to mess up the podcast. Now I'm going to have to delete this podcast and never pull it out. Put you on it. Swearing the place up. Bringing in the ambience. Anyway, guys, We're going to go around the table, of course. So we'll start with Medea today. Medea, got any words?
Oh, lovely. Just stay safe and wait for the second wave.
All right.
That's all I can say.
Wait for the second wave. Oh, Medea knows it's going to happen.
All right. Pudding, you got anything?
I would say, in regards to the topics that we're speaking, all the relationship ones and stuff like that, just keep talking to your people in your household, your family, your friends, your partner. Always liaise and come to a middle ground. It's all about negotiation, communication, love. Sometimes agree to disagree and move on. Don't make it into an issue where, it could break you.
All right. Travesty?
Everybody go and purchase your masks. Stay safe in the shops and the supermarkets. Don't travel to other countries unless you feel that you want to quarantine. Speak to your partner. Don't leave them after 7 years.
I like that one.
I'm sure we'll meet again next week at the same time.
Yeah. Trashley.
The best advice I could give everyone is you can't skip out on taking out the Trashley.
Oh gosh.
And I always say to the ladies, you don't have to be so dominant. It's all right to pass some of the work off to your significant others. Good night, guys.
Good night.
It's a dream for me and you. Hearing the excitement in your voice, now that you made the right choice to love only me. Now we can continue on with our plans, walking together hand in hand. We believe.